The roots of positive leadership lay there in reg, respect, empathy, and genuineness. And that pastoral, and trust, and that pastoral side of leading and being in high-performance teams. I guess when working with soldiers, you know, yes, we have discipline. But I think the SAS is a very different model, you know. It's more akin to a business model than it is to anything else. That, you know, the SAS, there is no rank. This may sound mad to you. How can you have a military unit without rank? There are bosses, yes. But it's all run on a first-name basis. And I guess I've been here since 11 o'clock this morning with the 1st Battalion of the Quds Regiment. Here they are in front of me, carrying that badge on their forehead. Absolutely. The brand representing the bank on a global basis. I couldn't think of it, you know, you might think, how can you draw a similarity there with the Special Air Service? But there it is. Tough teams and excellence together. TT&E. The Special Forces of Banking. I love it, don't you? It's brilliant. Off we go. All we need is a berry. Different colour. You know, this is the only bit of academic rigour I've got this afternoon. I'll be very quick, okay? Which box were you in this morning? Did you get in the car or the bus when you came from Bristol? I know the bus was late. I was tracking it, because that's where I live, okay? Hoping to get a lift back. But where were you today? Did you take a little post-it out your bag and write the word attitude on it and stick it on your glove compartment, on the window of the bus or on your briefcase and say, I'm going to go into this conference day looking like I mean it, handshake, eye contact. I'm going to be massively enthusiastic. I'm going to be showing self-leadership. I'm going to get inside that team that I'm involved in. I'm just going to enthuse them. Were you in the lead box? Were you in the followership box? Certainly in the change box with the balloons, definitely. And then the instruments. Or were you in the get out the way box? Or are you one of those naughty weasels up at Toad Hall, disrupting Toad's life while he's away trying to drive a car? Destroying Toad Hall. Are you one of them? Have you not got out the way? Are you not moving forward with the big program? I guess as high-performance teams, we've got to be in all those 4 boxes all the time, rattling around. When are we going to take the time to think about the team? When are we going to take the time to lead? Self-lead, organisationally lead, culturally lead. We've got to plot it in our heads. It is a responsibility of everybody to do it. The SAS cannot operate without a buy-in to all 4 things. Those words are written as you walk into training wing, trying to get that hat. Those words are written in the corridor in big letters. Do one, do all the time. So what about becoming a civilian? Well, it's difficult. I mean, after 25 years of being in the army, of being institutionalized, when you come out, my gosh, it's a shock. Who are these people who don't do as they're told? Who are these people who have long hair and wear strange clothes? You know, the 1st Battalion, the Quds Regiment, here we are, in the room. But it's an interesting transformation because my leadership journey, my teamwork journey, has meant that when I came out, what a shock. I had so much to learn. I realized that all these people out here who are civilians had to work for a living. They really did have to work for a living, and they really had to be agile, mentally and physically. Wow, so for the last 6, 7 years, I've just been learning all the time. And what I really discovered, that I had to be adaptive. I had to be able to adapt to different situations very, very quickly, not just as a leader of the team, but as the team member. I also realized that part of my responsibility, totally, was to unlock talent and potential wherever I went. That was an absolute. In the high-performance team, the leader or the follower or the get-out-the-wayer, we've got to encourage talent. We've got to unlock potential because we need, as it's called in military terms, these force multipliers, these catalysts to beat the opposition. Because at the end of the day, we do have enemies out there who will steal our livelihoods unless we beat them. So it's all about beyond boundaries. I'm going to tell you a little bit about Beyond Boundaries because when I came out, after a couple of years and I made some television documentaries, I went climbing with someone who was blind. He was French, and pardon the accent, he said, at the bottom of this rock face we're about to climb, Ken, I can feel your fear. I went, excuse me, I've never been climbing with anybody who's blind before. I can't really say, fine, okay, let's just go, you know. It was a difficult thing, but he was telling me to let go of my prejudices. I had to change my behaviors. Again, another line in the sand. Let this blind man lead you up a 300-meter rock face, which is vertical. And off we went. And we came back down. He said, what are you going to do, Ken? How are you going to raise the awareness of disability? How are you going to unlock their potential? I said, well, I don't know. Let's run an expedition. And off we went. And then television got interested in this expedition and said, take a camera crew with you. Off you go. Where are we going to go? Well, we decided to go to Nicaragua in Central America. Overrun by drug barons, the Mosquito Coast on the right-hand side, there are no tracks at all. More interestingly, perhaps, when I arrived on that coast to do a recce, I said to a guy on a horse I met in the woods, he was a vicar, he had a white collar on, he's on a horse, he's got 2 6-guns in his pocket and an AK-47 on his back. Which told me something at the time, that it wasn't altogether safe. And he said to me, Ken, in the Spanish accent, which I can't do, he said, Ken, you're only the second white man to walk through here. And I said, who was the first? He said, Christopher Columbus. And he was not joking. We could not find a track. The whole of the Mosquito Coast on the right there, occupied by people with names like John Smith and Ian Webster and Robert Good, because they're all descended from British pirates and buccaneers. Our armour spread long, and they're still there now, raising the British flag. I joke not. So I told the BBC One controller, who looked at me quizzically, we're going to cross Nicaragua with a group of people with disability. And there we set off on day one, the high-performance team trying to form. The high-performance team trying to get its head round this inspired vision about a Pacific Ocean where they might arrive in a month's time. The 2 guys at the back, only 1 good leg between them. The guy at the front, 1 good arm. And the lady in the wheelchair, Sophie, paralyzed from the waist downwards. The evolution of a high-performance team, constrained by time and finance, of course. And day one, we went 200 meters. That's it. That's from here to the car park. That's all we managed. And suddenly doubt started to creep in. And we bust all the tires. 16 inner tubes we went through in one day. And we sat down, like all good people do, with their cycle repair kit, got the little patches out and the glue. We all remember it, boys. You know, put the glue patches on, mended all the inner tubes, got them all back on the tires. And then someone said, where's the bike pump? And they all looked at me. And I said, I don't know. And there we were, 6,000 miles from home in the Mosquito Coast without a bike pump. But I sent a man on a horse who said he knew a man who had a bike pump in a creek somewhere. I gave him $50. I never saw him again. But we packed. We said, right, we've got to move. We have no choice here. We can't stay here and cry about the fact that we haven't got a bike pump. So we packed the tires with leaves and vines and what have you and moved on.